A lot of listener questions asking differences between this and your old relationship.
Right when I got single, that was like the first thing that changed is I started cooking.
There's blue and pink rolls. Have you heard of these things?
It is your box. It is your job to take it to the recycling.
Welcome back to another episode of Just Alex. Today's episode is moving, new chapter, Austin, house, all of that. With piled in like some of your listener question mixed with just like funny banter. And I'm obviously doing it with Mr. Baby Daddy here. Hi.
Hello, hello.
You haven't been on in a while.
I have not been on in a while. This is true.
I gotta say, and I don't know. Oh, you haven't been on in a while because we were moving, we were traveling, so we were doing guests. By we were doing guests, I was doing guests and was doing a lot of pregnancy related guests, and it was so fascinating and interesting. But I have to say, my favorite episodes, and I think the listeners' favorite episodes, are the ones that you're on, which I'm sure is not music to your ears, or maybe it is. I don't know. How do you feel about doing these?
I love supporting you.
That's really nice. Thank you.
It's so subject matter dependent. Like
Yeah.
if there's a topic that I'm interested in, then I'd be keen to come on and talk about it. If there's a subject I'm not that interested in, then there'll be less excitement. And I think I kind of wear my heart on my sleeve. So, I'm pretty frank when you ask me to come on, and I don't think I'd enjoy it.
Yeah, you just say no. Well, what I've learned with you too is like better to not have you if I don't think you're gonna be in a good headspace for the episode.
Oh, totally. I'm not gonna like do the camera on thing.
You can't fake it. So it's like you really have to have interest in the subject matter. Or in this case, this episode, you're just a very large part of it. And first of all, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Don't comment. I mean, comment, yes, but like and subscribe to the Just Alex podcast. That's the big one. Please. That's our wedding, or not wedding. That's our baby gift from you all. Wedding is waiting. That's our baby gift from you guys.
Sure.
What if we just like went to Vegas and got married? I don't want my wedding photos to have the bump. I know he's giving it the look like, I don't know. One thing I was gonna say, I've lost my, you can't do that to me right now because I lost my train of thought. Did you know pregnant people, their brains really do shrink? They physically shrink in size. They go back, but they shrink because you need to make sure that you have enough energy dedicated to give to the little babe.
I didn't know you was getting any smaller.
Funny. So that's what I was going to say. Thank you. Speaking of today's episode, we've got the outline, right? And there's going to be a lot of banter back and forth. But that's the purpose of the episode. So we're going to we both thought of our stories, kind of like our poke fun at you stories of like what it's like really living with you. And so we're going to go through those, and that's about it. It's what we like about living with each other. It's how it's been living, what the house is like. Did we rent or buy? The nesting phase, we do some listener questions. And so we can just kind of dive right into it.
Let's do it.
Wait, one thing I want to say, we have this floral couch in our living room. That's just like, I think everyone's favorite piece in the house. And I want to say that you picked it.
Oh, thank you.
There's a lot of like wallpaper and a lot of character in the house. And when we were going to look at furniture, Harrison was like, we really need a piece in there that's like velvet with a pattern on it. And I was like, oh my gosh, music to my ears. I thought you would hate that. And so we ordered this floral couch, and it's like the best part, but
Comfy as well.
But I can't take credit for that. I got to say that was you, sir. Good job. Put up a question box to the listeners. A lot of same questions from them. So we have some of those to go through. And then we just have general, what has it been like moving in questions? Because, and we can just dive into it right now, but this is our first house we've moved in together, the two of us, into a fresh new home. But we lived, you lived with me in New York and I lived with you in LA right from the get-go.
This is true.
And so but it was always, whenever you were at my apartment, it was still always my apartment, and your house was still always your house. Didn't you feel? As much as we tried to I cleaned out closet space and gave it to you, it was still.
Yeah. What's funny is I felt like my house became our house when we were there. But then when I was in your apartment, it still felt like your apartment.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to do this live, but you lived with your ex-girlfriend in your house. I moved into my apartment for a fresh start. So I never felt like it was our house. I
Yeah.
always felt like I was like, ah.
But it felt like we felt the same way, but with the roles reversed.
Yeah.
Is kind of what I was implying that you just confirmed.
Right. Right. I see. Now this house though that we've just moved into, we picked it together. Like we designed it together. It feels very much so like our house, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, ours plus my mom.
Yeah, because so Harrison's mom, Kathy, came down and moved us in. And thank goodness she did, because I don't say this with happiness that I am just having a hard time doing things. And I saw all these boxes, and then I would take the boxes and I would think about the amount of energy that I have throughout the day. And I would look at these boxes to unpack, and I would think, that's going to take me until the baby gets here and maybe after. And she came in and unpacked me fully in 2 days. And it's like beautifully organized. I mean, it was incredible. And I felt like a massive weight lifted off of me. I couldn't believe it. And it takes a lot for me to like let somebody, do that, because it's kind of a shot, you kind of have to put your ego down a bit. Like, listen, I can't do it.
Yeah, I think she was excited to do it because she didn't move me to LA, but she did when I moved to Hong Kong. She did the Hong Kong move with me, and so I felt like maybe she thought like she was passed over on the LA move, and it was like kind of like a sports thing where she didn't make the LA team, so she had to come back and really prove herself. It was like Caitlin Clark, 2024 Olympics, didn't make the roster, so in 2028 she's gonna be there with vengeance.
Yeah. Well, she's just in the starting five.
Is that like the worst analogy ever?
No, I totally get it. I know I understood the analogy.
We're a sports podcast now.
This is a sports podcast. She made the roster. She's the MVP. Because here's the thing. You might ask yourself, why wouldn't you let Harrison unpack you? I would rather everything stay in boxes than I would let Harrison unpack me, because you're the most, like, what I've realized with you is I just need to let you handle you with unpacking. You're the most efficient unpacker, and you got your man cave and all of your clothes unpacked so fast. But the method at which you did it about gave me a heart attack, and everything ended up in its place. But I don't think anything was like washed. I don't know. I think it was like kind of folded right, but I'm not really sure. And everything's put away in drawers. Like nothing is sitting out. But I could not I wouldn't know where anything was. You wouldn't tell me where anything was. You would just say, let me do it. But she showed me where all my things were going. So like I felt a part of the process. You seriously, I watched you unpack all of your clothes in 1 hour. But if you did all my clothes in 1 hour, I would never be able to find anything again. There's a logic to it.
Yeah. Perfect little compromise.
Yeah. So your mom was highly welcomed to the unpacking, and she kind of ran the move, because actually we moved in and Harrison was gone for 3 days. He had to go back up to Vancouver, and we were supposed to move in a week after to where Harrison would have been here. And I was like, can we please move the move up? I can't live in a hotel for one more minute. And I'm so glad we did move the move up, because ever since we've been in the house, I've felt really relaxed and like we're starting to nest. And so I'm happy we moved the move up, but we did lose Harrison for 3 of the days. But his mom came, and she was a superstar. So the first main question we need to tackle is, did we rent or did we buy? I'm a bit out of breath over here.
Okay. You want me to answer that?
Yeah. I can answer it with you, but I need you I need to pass the mic to you for a second.
Okay, perfect. Why don't you kick it off?
Harrison, did we rent or did we buy?
We rented.
And why did we rent? After much debate.
I would say the core reason was timing. Was like when we looked at the due date coming by week after week, we just couldn't find, we didn't have the confidence we'd get into a place that we loved that would give you enough time to settle. And the one place that it came down to, I loved, and I still think we're going to get, if the sellers are for whatever reason listening. I think we'll go back to it because it's still on the market. But you didn't love it because I guess quite a bit of work needed to go into it, and I saw the project excited me, and I think the project of the renos and the add-ons kind of scared you.
So they don't scare me. The house that we loved, that we wanted to buy, was like a magical place. It's a massive lot. Like, it's unbelievable. It's got back houses. Like, it's such a cool, charming spot. But the problem is, yeah, it needs to be added on. But the problem with adding on and doing a couple renovations is we have a kid coming in less than 2 months now. So I was like, oh, we can't be doing that right now. So we
gotta teach the kids some resilience from a young age.
No,
Get it on the move.
we're not living in
Get
dust.
some dust.
No, living in dust
Get
and
those
paint.
lungs strong.
Postpartum. I mean, it just sounds, when we don't have to do that. And the market here's frozen. Like, nothing's moving. This house is still on the market. In New York and LA, if you find something you love, you got to get it, right? You got to put in an offer and you got to put it in above. Here, like, you can chill for as long as you want. We've been chilling on this. We've been looking at this house for 3 months. It's still there. It's just dropping in price. And so it's like, we can really get something that's a bang for our buck. But the house we're renting, we also think about buying because it was for sale.
Yeah.
And we went to them and we were like, would you rent this to us? And then we could buy it, of course, at the end of this, or, keep renting it to see what happens with the market. But we love this house. It has so much character, but is so modern. When you say it's the perfect blend, because a lot of houses you look at can be that really, really, really modern, almost a lack of character. Or there's some you look at here that have so much character, but they're not fully updated. Like, then they're old. This house is the perfect blend of character, modern, wallpaper, charming. And I think we just fell in love with it, but it was overpriced because it's in a phenomenal area. And then we said, okay, would you rent it to us? And they were like, yes, because that's best for both parties, right? If they sell it right now, they're gonna have to sell it low. Or I don't think they can sell it. And so Harrison came in yesterday and was like, I'd like to buy this house.
No. I was looking at I think the biggest, there's the stuff we love about the house, which is what you alluded to, is the space, the character. I think each floor has a really unique feeling character to it. And those are all amazing from a renting perspective. I think the biggest drawback on buying is the lot size is small. Mm-hmm. And so I asked our real estate agent for the land markings. That's the wrong word. Just so I could clearly see like where the land was and what we could do with it. And I wanted to potentially get creative with it. But I like the other house from a buying perspective way more. But for renting, this thing has been home run. Look at that. The sports podcast.
No, this house is unbelievable. I would say we're so happy in it that we look forward to going home. Didn't you say that the other day? You're like, I love wanting to go home, and I'm the same way.
And so why do you think we chose this house?
It just, I can't explain it. It's kind of like, why did we choose Austin? It just felt right. It felt like the house you want to bring a baby home to. I love the layout of the first floor. I love that there's the man cave in the basement, because I think you are a guy that needs like a TV room or your own basement area, because you're a guy. Like, you are capital G, you're boy. You're playing your NCAA games. You eat fried chicken wings that you make. Like, you are through and through. It took me a while to realize this part of you. But you take work and life not too seriously, but very seriously all at the same time. But yet you like to have, you think every day should feel like a Friday. But then at the same time, like, you are a boy. You watch the Olympics, like, you yell at the TV. You're always refreshing games, no matter what kind of game it is. And so it's like, you're the perfect candidate to just go down there in that man cave, and you can watch any sport ever, or play any game, or call your friends, or just do all the guy stuff down there.
Go bros.
Yeah, you kind of bro out. And you could bro out in the basement. And then the little baby and I, we can have the first floor, which is like a really open floor plan, which I love.
Feels like a bit of a New York loft.
Yes. And then upstairs we have 4 bedrooms and we can all kind of like wall off into our areas. You and I wall off into the same area because that sounded like we don't share a bedroom, but we do. What's your favorite area of the house?
The basement. Like, I love the way my office opens up to like the TV area.
It's cool. He's got office, bar, and TV area.
I love the feel of it. It's just like, I love the brick. I love, like I feel when I'm down there, like focused and my creative juices are flowing. Like, since I was talking to my business partner about this, like since moving into the house, I've seen such a drastic uptick in my productivity. And like, I guess I didn't realize like how much you lose that productivity when you don't have that. At least I lose it when I don't have that dedicated workspace. Cause like, you're just trying to find the right place to take calls and you're bouncing from, whatever, coffee shop to coffee shop or area to area. And so I'm loving that specific part of the house for me, but, and I hate how, we're kind of sitting here like bragging about the house, which is a general theme I hate, but whatever.
No, I think we're more so just telling about it. I don't think we're bragging. I think you're just saying your favorite
but
areas.
I like that, like, and this, I sound like my mom when I'm going to say it, like, I like the areas of the house. Like, I like I like the main floor area that I like the openness. I like that it's great for us and the kid to come and general socializing. I love how different each area feels, and then and location. Like, that we score so high on that Diet Coke index. We got Diet Cokes down south of us. We got Diet Cokes north of us. The walkability, great restaurants. So, yeah, I think very happy with how things are kicking off.
Good. Okay. I think that well, my favorite area, we started the nursery yesterday.
What's your favorite area, Alex?
Well, we started the nursery yesterday, and I went in there this morning because it was just a pile of boxes. And now it's like, we actually got it to where, like, if we had the kid today, it could be livable. And I went in there this morning, and I was like, whoa, like, the windows in there are nice. Like, it's a really sweet, organized room, and so it's my favorite. That would have, I would hope the nursery would become my favorite area in the house, but we have like to do the aesthetic work to it still. We need to paint it. We're going to paint the nursery ourselves. I had this like freak out moment with the wallpaper, not freak out moment, but I was like, we should put in, like, how sweet would it be? Have you ever painted a wall? I've never painted a wall.
I mean, of course not. What have you learned about my handiness?
Yeah, it is unbelievable. I think it's on my list of worst thing about you. I have 2 worst things about you. But
I can blame my people for that.
Who?
North American Jews.
Not handy?
Like, we are notoriously not handy people. But Israeli Jews, notoriously very handy people. Yeah.
But you're quick to say, let's hire the handyman back. Alexi.
Oh, yeah. We are. Alexi is amazing if anyone's looking for a local Austin handyman.
I mean, you're quick to be like.
He's coming by every other day at this point.
We got the snoo box, and the snoo's the easiest thing to put together in the world, but we didn't know that. But Harrison wasn't even going to open it and try. And all you do is stick 4 legs in it. And it says A goes in A, B goes in B. And he's like, we need to call Lexi. And I'm like, we could open it.
Like kudos to Snoo for making it truly idiot proof to set that thing up. Yeah, I mean, all my Jewish friends growing up, like, we can't put in a light bulb.
You isn't that a saying?
I think something to do with blondes and putting in light bulbs. I don't think that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I don't think it's made its way to the Jews yet, but
no, I don't think it has either. Yeah, nor do I think
the Jewish brethrens in the group chat, if any of them do listen to this, I'm sure will be nodding their heads that. Yeah, we suck at that type of shit.
And it's funny because you really want to buy a house, and I understand that it's good because it's an appreciating asset, as you call it. But like, we're in the little girl's room, and the bar in the bathroom broke, and you're like, landlord. And I'm like, we could fix this.
Alexi.
You're like, send it to them. I'm like, man, we are just not touching it. But hey, you know what? you're a very productive. You don't waste your time on anything you don't need to waste your time on. Like, for example, dishes. Harrison told me when we moved in, like week 2, he's like, you spend too much time doing laundry and dishes. And I was like, said no guy ever. Like, no guy's been like, you're doing too many dishes, too much laundry. But you actually had a good point. Like, I was running the dishwasher too often. I should just let it pile up and then run it when it's like full as it can be. And same with laundry. I worry about getting behind on these things. So that's why I was doing them so often. And then I was like, maybe I am like doing it a little bit too much. And then Harrison was going to go to the Hamptons, but he didn't end up going. And none of his whites were clean. And he came to me and he said, I know I mentioned that you were doing a little bit too much laundry, but I kind of have some that needs to be done. And I was so excited that you asked me, because it's an area I can offer things to you. I can say I can do laundry. I don't know why. I can do laundry really well.
I like the refined version of that story you told. That's just not how it played out.
How did it play? That's exactly how it played out.
No. I was like, it feels like you're doing a lot of laundry and a lot of dishes. And that was then met with a hysteric freak out.
I don't think I was hysteric.
Yeah, no, I think that was... Yeah, I remember I said it to you, and then I came up, and then I realized like we probably hadn't spoken in 15 minutes, and then I was like, "Is something wrong?" You're like, "You said all I do is laundry and dishes and."
No, I know what it was. All the while, it was like we've seen a snake outside, and there's spiders because it's so hot in Austin. And you can put me in a shark tank and cut me open, and I'll be bleeding. And I would prefer that over I would to see a creature crawling anywhere. So my biggest thing is keep that front door shut. Keep it shut. And Harrison, loves to open the door and leave it wide open for all these bugs and insects, and God forbid a snake, to come inside the house. And on your way past the wide open door, you're like, you do too much laundry and too many dishes. And I'm like, and you can't shut the gosh darn door. So I can't hear it from you until that door's shut. Then I can listen.
As I'm carrying in your boxes from the car.
Nonetheless, like, you shut the front door. You're getting good at it. You're getting really good at shutting that front door. And
I'll add it to my resume.
You can shut the front door. And then, yeah. So we've had our kind of growing pains, but overall, I would say we've had a blast in the house. Okay, what have we learned about each other? What have you learned about me living with me, and vice versa? I know mine with you.
The concept of Alex clean. It's a new definition that I just made up.
And was it spotless?
No. It's your definition of clean is doing one thing, and once you accomplish that one thing, you defined the area as clean while ignoring everything else. So in the kitchen, that is putting the dishes in the dishwasher. So you'll go in and you'll say the kitchen's clean because you put the dishes in the dishwasher. But what you'll ignore is like the Diet Cokes and the boxes that are on the countertops. And so aesthetically, like, the kitchen looks like shit and is a total mess. But like, you put the dishes in the dishwasher, so it's Alex clean. No. I'm going to give another one, because this one was yesterday. Because like my brain broke when this happened. Because I'm downstairs and you're doing the nursery. And the nursery at that point we were using as like our storage place. There was boxes everywhere. And I knew like you'd ask me to come up and move the boxes out so you could start organizing. And I'm watching the Olympics, as bros do. And I hear the vacuum go on. And like, vacuuming is an Alex clean thing, where you decide to vacuum the room when 80% of the surface area of the room is covered by boxes. But like, you just start vacuuming.
But what I was vacuuming the dust out of her drawers before I put clothes in them. Something that I'm sure your brain just exploded. You didn't even know existed.
I've never vacuumed drawers, and I will never vacuum drawers.
That's how, like, your LA house was beautiful. And it wasn't messy in the sense of all your things were put away. But one thing that you don't notice is like dust and you're not surface clean.
Do you want to hear a crazy story about my LA house?
Sure.
So we knew that we were going to move to LA at the beginning of the year, and we went there on a visit, and we went and we visited this house, and we fell in love with it. And this lady who was living next door, she showed us the house, and we signed the lease that day. We're living in that house for 2 months, and then a guy shows up on the front door and says that he is the controller of the house and the owner of the house, and we rented it from a lady that didn't own the house. So we'd been living in the house, but we'd signed a lease because the house was in a dispute. So we had one person who said they were the owner and legally was the owner, who showed up and said we owed them all this money. So we had like this 6-month legal ordeal of like, who am I paying rent to? Is it the lady we signed to? Is it the proclaimed owner of the house?
Who did it end up being?
Well, technically it was the person that we did not sign the lease with.
Wow.
So we had to reroute payments, and the learning there is like, and I think it's one of the perks of actually using a real estate agent when you are signing a lease, is so mistakes like that don't happen. Because when you looked at how it was all legally registered,
right,
it was not to her. But like, talk about awkwardness with the neighbor.
I mean, no kidding.
And she was fighting it in the courts. There was a dispute on the house and a will, so it was being fought over.
Yeah.
And she was just trying to be sneaky.
Right. That's wild.
Yeah. I don't know if I told that story as cleanly as it was, but overall, signed a house with a fucking person that didn't actually own the house. And so I had to start paying other people.
She had a good couple months though, that girl.
And I had to pay a bunch of legal bills.
You did?
Yeah. And then got in a big fight with my lawyer.
Yeah, I bet. That's a mess. Okay, it was a phenomenal house. It was one of my favorite houses ever. Okay, I have to respond to the Alex clean thing just to let you know.
Okay.
We're gonna do an episode on like Southern versus Northern, not tendencies, and not protocol, stereotypes maybe.
Sure.
Because when I'm cleaning the kitchen, and I leave the boxes out, the boxes to me, and this isn't a good thing, but that's just a guy's job. Like, I would see the boxes and I would think you would just know to take them out. So when I do the Alex clean, I get all the dishes in the dishwasher. Here's the problem. We decided if one person cooks, then the other does the dishes, right? I'm sure a lot of people have that. Sometimes we both cook and we both clean. But most of the time, we're kind of down to this. All right, if one will cook, then one will clean. And I think the problem with that is you're the better cook, which has left me to cleaning duty a lot, which I like, because if you clean the kitchen, you don't know to sweep underneath the cabinets, nor would you ever like wipe off the counters.
And my point is, you prioritize sweeping underneath the cabinets over taking off all of the shit on the countertops.
Because one attracts bugs and one doesn't. So if it's gonna get done, I'm sweeping underneath the cabinets first. That's like my number one thing. Because if I look down there and I just see like crumbs, I just like my senses just like they just start honking.
Yeah, this is Alex clean.
The Alex clean is I'm basically spotless,
but messy as hell.
But clean.
But messy.
But the surfaces are wiped and the dishes are clean and the cabinets don't have dust in them.
But there's shit everywhere.
It's not true. Now, upstairs,
I'm going to expose you online next time this happens. And I'm just going to start, like, I wish I did it with the nursery yesterday and the kitchen yesterday. I'm like, is this clean? And then we can do a question box, yes or no. And there'll just be the shit everywhere.
No, I think you should do it, because I don't think you could find a time. But maybe I don't even see it. But I do know I leave boxes and things out, because I do think that in my mind you're going to take them, And you do take the boxes. But now here's how Harrison takes boxes to the recycling. It's the craziest thing ever. We have like a 3-story deck off the back. So there's 3 floors he can do this on. He takes the boxes and hurls them over the deck, and they pile up in the back. And then he said to me this morning, after he hurled some of the boxes over to the back, 1, out of sight, out of mind. Number 2, we're going to need to hire someone to come take care of the boxes. And I just looked at him like, okay, like get your butt down there and break down the boxes.
I was breaking down the boxes, but back to the things I've learned about you. I didn't know someone could receive more packages.
I knew this was going to happen.
It is unbelievable. Like when we walked out of the house today, like I know all the ordering I felt like for the house had been done. The house is now up and going. Like another 7 boxes just waiting there and I know it's like brands sending you stuff. That's like a very big brand learning for me as like an operator of brands is companies just send creators so much product and all of it comes in the same boring boxes. Mm-hmm. Like what an opportunity to stand out on the box.
Totally agree. There was some in New York that like we just haven't had one yet in Austin, but there are some banger boxes.
I haven't seen a single banger box.
No.
Sorry. Obviously banger box once you open it and there's the package in the package. But how do you stand out as a brand even on the brown side of it?
Right.
And our guy Mark is actually working on something for one of our newer brands.
Yeah, you guys should do. I do think
it's a really cool outside that's just like going to grab your attention. So that way, when you see the sea of 6 or 7, it's like, oh, I either want to open that one, or on the contrary, I don't want to open that one.
Yeah, is it the same price?
No, it's way more expensive
to pay for the box. Yeah.
Yeah, but if the boxes aren't getting opened, then it's worth it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Okay, best thing about living together.
Well, I feel like I've still learned more things about you than we've discussed.
Okay, this is my thing with you. This is my number one worst. This is at the top.
No, but I thought we were doing learning things.
Oh, are we? Okay, what is it?
You use more paper towel than anyone I've ever met.
Always been a thing.
I can't believe how much paper towel you go through.
I'm sorry to the environmentalists. I love a paper towel, and I don't love them to get super dirty. So I use a lot of paper towels.
Yeah,
it's very bad.
I would say our biggest win at Costco moving forward is going to be the bulk paper towels.
Yeah, Costco will save us on bulk nut butter. What's the nut butter? It's this thing. I don't know what we bought. I don't even think we knew we bought it.
7 nuts. No, my dad bought it like a while ago, and I was like, I really liked it. I hadn't seen it since.
It's an unbelievable Costco get. I don't know if they have it somewhere else, but it's just a bunch of nuts ground up into
nuts and seeds.
Nuts and seeds. Phenomenal. Have it every morning. And then the paper towels and the toilet paper. There was something else from Costco we got that I just
Flock chicken skins, baby.
Flock chicken skins. We got something else though. Got a whole large salmon.
Yeah.
We love to cook. We love to cook at home, and we love to eat the leftovers. We're on a cooking like you can't get us to eat out right now. We're really on a cooking spree. Okay, all right. So now let's talk about differences living with each other than previous spouses, because we both lived with our spouses ahead of this. And it's
listener question.
Yeah. A lot of listener questions asking differences between this and your old relationship, and it's funny because I know yours because you said it to me.
Which is?
You were like, man, Melissa is your ex-girlfriend's name. You're like, Melissa was like a Michelin star chef. And I'm like, oh. But it's a good thing because you love to cook. You're a fabulous cook.
Yeah, she was so good at cooking.
And presentation too. Like you told me that you did the whole thing and I was like, oh.
She put the things on the top. And she wouldn't let me in the kitchen. Like when she was cooking and I'd try and come in there and help, she would just shoo me away. And
You asked me if I would take cooking lessons from her, and I was like, well,
That
not
was
her,
a joke.
not her
That was a joke.
specifically. I would though. She sounds lovely.
And then right when I got single, that was like the first thing that changed is I started cooking. And I was cooking, 3-4 nights a week. And like I really discovered a passion for it. And especially with like just how much shit they put in your food when you eat at restaurants, and whether it's, different seed oils and other crap. Like I do love the elements of like knowing what's in your food and then making it taste great, and presentation is definitely the part that I'm working on now.
But you're good at knowing, like, so I don't use spices or sauces or anything, but you, like, we were making this chicken casserole dish yesterday and you're putting like garlic powder, onion powder. You're so good at mixing your spices and things. Like, you really don't need a recipe anymore. You can kind of watch something. I can send you a video and you can bring it to life even better than the video.
Yeah. It's been, the past year or so of just trial and error, and I really enjoy it.
So I think it's a good thing I'm not so I can totally cook for myself, but funny story. Harrison says like I'm just the most bland chef ever. And I made your mom when she was there moving us in. I was like, I'll make her breakfast. So I made her breakfast, and the next morning she was laughing and she was like, I'm making my own breakfast today. And I was like, I know, I don't put any seasoning on anything. It's very bland. Like, I just really eat to live.
Does the listener know how bad your palate is, or the lack thereof? The lack of palate.
Yeah, I just need chicken and no seasoning on it. I'll take some oil if we have it. If not, like, I'll just eat just a cooked chicken.
Yeah, you cooking, I think you've cooked one meal in the house.
Well, I made the cottage cheese queso.
That was really good.
Yeah, I killed that.
That was really good.
I did taco night.
And then the other one was just like, bland chicken, and then just taking Brussels sprouts and putting them in a pan.
Oh, I did do that.
That was wild.
No, that was salmon. I made the salmon, killed the salmon.
Salmon was very good.
But I butchered all the sides.
Yeah, you just put them in the pan. It was unbelievable.
But I prefer to take care of, like, I love these dinners we're doing because they're like, we're finding the recipes online. Like, we're really having fun making them. We want to try cottage cheese flatbread tonight. But like, my lunch, I just sort of take care of it myself because it's just very bland chicken salad or cut chicken. And then breakfast, we eat the same thing every day. So that would be your biggest change, I feel like, from your partner, is she was a fabulous chef.
Yeah, so I guess we're answering this on behalf of the other one.
Yeah.
In our perception.
Right.
To me, the perception of what's changed most is just like, there's very clearly there's very clearly things that you want, that like were done by him, that you would want me to do, that like I just don't do. And like a great
simply can't do.
Like taking out the trash. Like, we are in a consistent game of chicken on who's going to take out that trash. Like, it just goes up and up and up. Like, I hate taking out the trash.
Same, but you're ultimately like, it's just there's blue and pink rolls. Have you heard of these things? And that's just a blue roll.
If it is your box, it is your job to take it to the recycling box.
Nope.
If it is whoever the receiver of the box is, it is not my job to follow you around and pick up your things.
No, well, of course it's not your job to follow. I would never. Lord knows I wouldn't even give you that duty, because I'm good at picking up my own things. But when it comes to some of these like giant boxes, I'm just like, he's gonna have to take this one. But
the giant one's 100%.
But hold on,
it's the basic Amazon boxes. It's the basic PR
You're not
boxes.
even breaking them down. You're throwing them over the balcony to a pile outside, to which you're gonna call somebody to come get.
That's a new thing. I was breaking them down. You have too many boxes. Well, it's turning into a full-time job.
We're doing a nursery now. But let me tell you the biggest thing that my ex did. Well, he did a lot around the house, but laundry. Like, he would.
That's the craziest thing in the world.
Piles of folded like laundry. Yeah. But it's so funny because you love cooking and now I love doing laundry. I love
Yeah,
doing your laundry. I love when you ask me to do like a shirt for you. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. This is my Super Bowl. I can get that shirt perfect for you.
Big day for Alex, getting a shirt done.
No. But I think I think those are the biggest difference. Okay, so I feel like we've had a lot of banter back and forth, but because I do have a best part of living with you. So let's do best part. Because all in all, I'll say this. It's been like, this is my favorite chapter yet.
Oh, totally. And yeah, we love, I think one is like we love banter, but, and so that's going to be the case more times than not. I think my favorite thing about living with you is how we're just on the same page, and we're on the same page with like really all the main things kind of A to Z. And that's like, whether it's the process of picking the house and the type of house and the location, to designing the house and the aesthetic, to now that we're in the house, like how the roles are divided, and like even the cooking, cleaning dynamic, and you know, what time we go to bed and what time we wake up, and going for walks when we wake up. Like, it really just feels like we're just on the same page and what we want the you know, Sunday to Saturday to look like. How many meals we're eating in versus going out, days we're making coffee at home versus getting coffee out, et cetera, et cetera. And so like, even though there's like the back and forth about Alex clean and the boxes, like that's peanuts in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Okay, so I have two favorite things about you. The first one was new, and it happened last night. We were sitting in the nursery, and you were like, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "Ready for what?" And you were like, "Well, when the baby comes, like, you know, we both run businesses. Like, we're gonna kick it back into gear. Are you ready for that?" And I was like, "Wow, I love having someone that pushes me like that." And I was like, "I sure am ready," because I've been missing that part of my life, like the part of doing anything, kind of like I really do miss. I'm thankful to be making our little baby girl right now, but it has I've taken a hit in terms of productivity and just like energy. So I'm excited to get back to that part, and I was glad that you brought that up for both of us. Like, we're gonna kick it back into gear, we're gonna get settled, and we're gonna get the train back on the track. And then the other thing, my original thing that I love about you is you do not live a mundane, boring Monday through Friday. Like, we joined a boat club, and basically it's like you pay a fee monthly and you get access to these boats, but we don't own the boat, right? So Harrison was like, we could go out there, we could hotspot, you know, on like a Tuesday afternoon. We could go have lunch on the lake. And sometimes, you know, you want to go to the pool. Sometimes, you know, you want to go work at a random coffee shop. Like last night you called me because you were out on a walk at 8:30. And you're like, let's go drive to a new area. And I'm like, gosh, like my back is killing me, but I want to go I want to go with you to this new area. Like, I want to go on a drive. Like, it sounds so fun. And so, one day, the first meal we had in the house was lobster tails, Costco. Those were killer. And you served it and you put out down the platter and you were like, lobster on a Monday. That's what life's about. And I thought that you just really, you work hard and you have fun around it. And so I love, every day's kind of an adventure with you. So I really do love that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm running out of breath left, right, and center over here. Yeah. And I think that wraps the episode. Let's do a random listener question. Hold on. I just swiped up on my story. I love this one. Well, let's do both of these. How about this? One is little babe going to sleep in your room for the beginning or straight to the nursery? Straight to the nursery. I love this about Harrison. We're putting together the nursery, and he puts together the snoo. And then I start sending him crib options because I'm like, which crib, do you like? And he's like, why would we get a crib? And I'm like, just because she sleeps in the snoo, girls will get this. You still, like, it is logical to think you wouldn't get a crib, but the nursery's not complete unless you have the crib.
Which I learned.
It's very guy of you. That was cute. But no, she'll sleep in her room, which is right next door to ours.
Well, but we will sneak her into our room on special occasions.
Harrison loves the idea of just sleeping with the little girl.
My sister
little baby.
would never allow. She's so like she follows such a good and productive sleeping schedule with her child, and a big part of that is through the early days, like it's always in its own area, and
she's always in her own area.
I'm gonna break that, and I'm gonna snatch her up and
cuddle.
Sometimes I'll wake her up so that way she can come hang out, and she'll be mad, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll cuddle with her and let her sleep. Yeah. But most of the time, like 95 to 98% of the time, she'll be in her bed. Okay, have you felt the impact in the difference of cost of living in Texas? Astronomically, yes. And do you know the two areas I think we feel it?
Where?
One, just because we have a kitchen big enough now, we eat at home. So like we've cut in 75ths our eating out bill. But number two, we Ubered everywhere in New York. Like our Uber bills were so high.
Oh, that's such a good question. Yeah, the cooking is like cooking in your apartment in New York was
impossible.
Yeah, it was just a brutal experience. So yeah, that's a great call out. Totally agree.
Okay. Do you feel like you are nesting now that you are at home? Yeah, and I feel like the nesting really kicked in yesterday when we started the nursery. But even nesting is such a funny thing because like not only do I want her room to be cute, but I want it to be like I want all of her clothes to be washed. I want her stuffed animals to be washed. I want her books to be organized. Like I really, once you bring home this baby from the hospital, like you have to keep it alive from there. And it's like really having the room organized, I feel like makes a big difference. So yeah, we feel the nesting. Let's see. I think that's
how are you feeling mental health wise since moving into the new house?
So much better. Like I don't know how. I know how we were living in hotels is because when you're doing what you're doing because you need to be doing it, you're doing it. But being able to just be like, whoa, like get a wave of nausea or something and just being like, I can go get in my bed and being able to like put away my things or wash my face. Like it's just been incredible. I feel like very calm. I don't want to leave the house. Because I don't want to leave the house. I mean, I don't want to leave Austin because I just feel finally settled and like really organized and happy. And yeah, it's been productivity's back a bit.
It's been great to see. The third trimester generally feels very different for you.
Oh, it does. And I think a lot of people hate the third trimester, but I've liked it the most by far because just having our own little space. And she's just kicking, so like she's just really there.
And your nausea seems to be...
Do you know why I think the nausea is subsiding a bit?
Why?
Eating at home. Every time I ate my first meal, like I would wake up and I'd feel good, but boom, when I went downstairs to whatever hotel we were at and I had my first meal of the day, it would just kick in. And now it stays at a pretty good level all day, and I think it's the food. I think it makes a big difference. Yeah, I think we can wrap the episode there, though. I think we answered everything. Okay. I lost my train of thought. That's been happening.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe to the podcast. Send it to a friend. And you guys, we'll see you next week, and maybe Harrison will join us again. But we love you guys.
Thank you for listening.
Okay, guys, thanks for listening to another episode of Just Alex, powered by Just Media House. If you enjoyed the show, which I think you did because you made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. All of those things are so important. Stay connected on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook at Just Alex Pod. Post-production by Creative Evolution Studios. Theme song to the Just Alex Pod by Gideon Shawkin and Denisha. I'm Just Alex, you're just you. Let's keep doing this thing. New episodes every Thursday.